Welcome to the Sleepy G Show. I'm your host for your most. My name is Gomez, and tonight, like any night here at the Sleepy G Show, I have an amazing special guest, and I'm going to give out big props and shout out to Kick Up Your Heels Entertainment, Katrina and Rachel, the two lovely ladies of the Canadian border up there, who always hooks the show up with some amazing, amazing people. And I gotta say, I got another amazing guest. He's a Spotify verified R&B pop recording artist. If you heard his music, you're gonna love it, like I have. He's also part of the registered voting member of the National Recording Academy, which means Grammys, people, the Grammys. He's been invited to attend he's been attended to the 2018, 2019, and the 2020 Grammys, which I'm jealous, which one day hopefully I'll find me there. But please let me welcome Roger Ortega. How are you, Roger?
Thank you. I'm great, man. I'm thankful to be here, grateful to be here, and looking forward to this.
Oh, same here, man. It's been a while. It's been a while in the making because Katrina knows kind of I've been reading your little profile, Kick Up Your Heels Entertainment for a while. So
Yeah,
I'm like, well, what about Roger? You're not ready for that yet. I'm like, okay.
right.
I said, I get you. I go, he's working on some new stuff. I'm like, then total respect. I get it.
Right. Yeah.
So I've been excited, and then when she goes, "Hey, yeah, hey, we have anything lined up for this year?" And I
Yeah.
made a difficult decision
Yeah.
this year.
Hmm.
Um, at the end of the February, which just the show will be released in February. Actually, just don't have the exact date yet.
Yeah.
I took time to spend some time with my family and work on me.
Yeah.
One thing is, it's not like I don't love it. I love podcasting.
Yeah.
I love what I do because it connects me with other people I never knew I had a great connection with.
Right.
We were just vibing a few minutes ago,
Yeah, man.
um, and I feel this connection already with you. Like I've known you for 10 years, and we literally just met 2 seconds
Same,
ago.
bro. Same.
So, when you get people like you and me in a room, great things are going to happen.
Right.
So, I'm going to start off with when did you first realize your love of music?
Um, Gosh, when did I not? Was the question.
Okay,
I
there's
was
the question.
Yeah, I was really born into it, man.
Oh,
And
really?
I've always had a desire for it. My dad was in a band, my grandfather was in a band and got them started in music as well. So my dad was in a band with his brothers, my uncles.
Hmm.
So I would go to bed at night listening to them have band practice, and they would play Tejano music, which is like Tex-Mex. They
Yep.
would play top 40. They would play funk. They would play R&B. They would play country. And
Nice.
so the band has been together as long as I've been alive.
Okay.
And my dad unfortunately passed away in 2016, but the band still plays. They play every weekend, basically. And
And I'm gonna say I'm sorry about that because I know how it is losing a dad. I
okay.
was 21 when I lost my dad.
Oh, it's a young age, man. That is,
He was only 51.
oh my gosh, man. Wow.
So I have anybody when they say that I have full respect and full knowledge of what it is, and it's always sad because my dad and I we were tight. He was my father, my brother, my best friend rolled up as one growing up.
I get
So,
that.
and I look up to my dad like I know you do, and your grandfather too. So,
Yeah.
another great connection I have with you already. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, man. Well,
it,
Rock Chalk is the chant for the Kansas Jayhawks.
yep.
I'm a huge Jayhawks fan because of my dad. I'm a huge Chiefs fan because of my dad.
Good luck at the
Royals
Super
as
Bowl.
well. So, so when I watch those teams, I think of my dad. I used to
Yeah.
call him after every game because I lived in New Jersey for so many years,
Right.
and I would call him after the game. So when I lost him, it was like, oh,
I
I can't call him and complain. I
yep.
can't call him and celebrate.
So
Um,
growing up, I was
but
the same way. At 3 o'clock when I got home from school, my dad was working at the restaurant. Hey,
yeah,
dad, talk for 5 minutes and I'm like, hey, what's going on? How was your day? He's like, how was school again? And when he left, it's like, who do I call?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I get it. Like we had the love, me and my dad had the love for my New York Giants.
Okay.
Um,
Hey,
the-
so I lived in East Rutherford for God since 2014 to 2023.
Holy
So
shit, I lived in
2022.
Rutherford.
No way.
I lived in Rutherford.
No way,
I
man. Yeah,
lived in
we lived off of there were some townhouses right down. Okay, so you know where the train station is?
Right across the street from Park Tavern and the Blarney Station.
Yeah, so if you go straight down that long road, you
Yep.
cross into Rutherford, and there's that long street.
Yep.
There were these condos
Yeah.
behind trees.
Yeah. I
That's
know
where we
exactly
lived.
what I lived closer to 17. Now, Rutherford was more of my hometown now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
grew up in Passaic for 9 years. My mom rented a house in Clifton until they got the money for the house in Rutherford.
yeah,
So I lived in Rutherford for over 20 some odd years. So for
yeah.
me, I'm considered Rutherford.
Rutherford. That's awesome, man. Yeah, we lived when I first moved out there, we lived in Jersey City.
Okay.
And then my wife and I eventually moved to Hoboken and we lived there for quite a few years. And then we decided to have another child, and there was no way we were going to pay Hoboken prices for a three-bedroom, you
Yeah.
know. So we found a really nice condo in East Rutherford and moved in there and, had our two girls and, there we are. Eventually it was time to come back home.
Oh,
I
I
had to
get you. I
cancel.
mean, I'm actually going to be in Rutherford tomorrow night and next Friday night. I'm going to go see some old teammates next week at St.
Oh,
Mary's.
cool.
So
Yeah, yeah.
we're going to have the annual beefsteak. So I'm looking forward to seeing my teammates, my old
Hmm.
teammates, and rocking it out with them for a little while next week. So for me, Rutherford, it's my hometown.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So as a local Jersey guy, you know what I mean?
Cool.
That's
That's
amazing. So we actually have more in common. So
yeah,
guys,
exactly. Exactly.
so
That's why we're vibing, man. That's why
yeah.
we're vibing. So
So what people don't realize is that we literally just met not even 5 minutes ago.
yeah, barely.
So the connection already, you could see we're vibing. We're gonna have a good night here. We're gonna have a
Yeah,
great show for you guys. And
absolutely.
one thing is, I love music.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the 80s listening to all the types of music, Duran Duran, Guns N' Roses.
Yep.
Then the 90s became my hip hop era.
Right.
I literally had my White Sox hat like Dr. Dre, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Did we all did, man?
what's funny, I still have that White Sox hat.
Really?
I still have my old school hat and I have
Oh,
my old school. So I have two hats that I had for over 20 years.
okay.
It's my New York Yankees New Era hat
Yeah.
and my Chicago White Sox hat.
Oh man, that's cool. That's really cool.
The thing is, I kept that White Sox hat boxed up, used it a handful of times,
Mhm.
and then I'm like, well, it doesn't look the same. So I bought a new one.
Okay.
So I have the one with the New Era on it on the sign, but
Wow.
I but the Yankees hat I still wear it to. I've never bought a new one.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to buy a new Yankees hat, but I'm like, the nostalgia. This was
Yeah.
actually the last hat my dad bought me before he passed.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, they're truly special
it is
Yankee.
a truly special
Sentimental,
hat.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have Pittsburgh Pirates. I got the '97 Florida Marlins World Series hat there.
Yeah.
I got the
Yeah.
Chicago White Sox. I got two Philadelphia Phillies. I got the Liberty Bell and the Maroon Phillies hat.
Wow. Okay.
Chicago Cubs, LA Dodgers, San Diego, Oakland A's,
Oh my
and,
God. You're a happy
and
dude.
I'm a huge hat dude. And my prized possession, Cleveland Indians hat, the one with the
Really?
Wahoo.
Oh my God.
So,
Wow.
I got a Yo MTV Raps hat here. I love hats.
Man, that's awesome.
So I'm a little bit of a collector of stuff. I will
Yeah.
say that. And that's one thing, like, with your music too. Like
Mhm.
your vibe is so different from others, which is
Yeah.
great because
Yeah.
there's nothing, I'm not saying sticking out, it's being unique and being who you are.
Right.
You know,
Well, I think one of the things that I do is I realized through the eyes of the label that I signed with back in 2011, I think it
mhm,
was. Um, you know, they signed me as a writer,
mhm,
and eventually they were like, you should really make an album. And I was like, at the time I was 36. And I was like, I'm too old to be doing that. This is a young man's game. And they're like, no, you should do an album. You're a really good writer. And I was like, no, I was like, I don't want people to laugh at me, an 36-year-old trying to do R&B and pop music. They said, no, 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 you write to your demographic. Just write from the heart. There's a demographic out there that wants new music, that
right,
doesn't like the stuff that's coming out, but you appeal to them. So when I write, there's a flair of the 90s, a flair of the 80s, that I throw into it because that's what I grew up on.
Yeah,
I do
just like
that
I did.
and yeah, and I do that intentionally too. One, because I love that style of music, but two, because my demographic is that. I
Mhm.
have an older demographic that I write for, and they've been there for me, man. So I try to be there for them too.
And that's one thing. I mean, I hear the music, I listen to it, and that's something I love. I love vibing. Like your songs are unreal.
Thank you.
Now we
Thank you.
fast forward a couple of years, and you became a member of the Grammy Association.
Yeah, yeah,
How now? I know Katrina gave me a little insight on the whole process,
right, right.
and I mean, how did you get encouraged to do it? I guess is now that's the question, really.
Well, so Katrina, kick up your heels. She kind of spearheaded that whole thing with the Grammys.
Mhm.
She was like, "You need to sign up for this, blah blah blah, and submit, to see if they'll accept you." And so at the time, it was based on record sales, songwriting credits, and show attendance. How many
Mhm.
people you get to your shows. And so after submitting everything, they accepted me as a voting member. So I get to vote for the Grammys every year
That's
and
awesome.
got to go to the Grammys and all that, and it was cool. So, but yeah, I sent in my votes, so we'll see what happens this year.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Grammys this year, and I bet you'll be there, and I'll be like, Roger.
I don't think we're going this year. We didn't
Okay.
get because the tickets for those, I think the tickets are usually available in like November or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
It goes so fast, but
I can only imagine.
so we actually, so much like you, taking a break here. When I moved back to Kansas,
Mhm.
we moved back to Kansas in 2022.
Right.
And, it was time for me to just kind of focus on the family and my life and building our new life here. Uh,
Mhm.
we Music had been a lot for it had been my life for what since for 10 years at that
Yeah, I
point
was about to say 10 years
since
at
the
least.
album came out. And so I get burned out at times. And so it was just time for me to step away for a while. But now, I'm starting to write again, and we're looking to get some new music out this summer. And yeah, it's so. But I stepping away, be with family first, man.
One thing, I mean, I started podcasting a few years ago. Matter of fact, it was during COVID.
Hmm.
Me and my best friend had a show called Playlist Wars,
Okay.
and it was supposed to be three best friends, and we pick out three different music genre. We pick a music genre. It
Yeah.
could be hip hop, it could be country, it could be whatever. So, like for instance, I'm gonna say the Beastie Boy episode because this is where I found my niche. This is
Okay.
like third or fourth episode in, and I'm trying to find my niche as a podcaster. Like, what am I good at
Hmm.
besides knowing what the music's were? So, No Sleep to Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like my last song, and then one of theirs, it was one of the number three on somebody else's side, and it was my number 10. But I'm like, you guys remember the movie Steven Seagal, Out for Justice, when he was driving along and you
Uh,
hear no sleep? They're like, oh shit, that's it. That's your niche. Movies, video games,
yeah.
that's it. So
Dope.
I started incorporating my
Okay.
knowledge of video games and movies into the songs.
Yeah.
So they're
Oh.
in movie song soundtracks, or they're even in the movie for 30 seconds.
Hmm.
You know, I remember the scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, of course, Grand Theft Auto had so many of these songs that are from dating from the 80s, the 90s. I'm like,
Right.
and it's in one of my favorite video games, Grand Theft Auto 5,
Man.
Rockstar
That's
Video Games.
awesome.
I'm waiting for the invite for you to let me play the number six game. I always kept pushing it to
You
have
never
him.
know, man. You know
Oh,
what? I learned a long time ago too. I was watching an interview with David Hasselhoff, and you remember David
oh,
Hasselhoff,
of
Knight
course, Knight
Rider.
Rider, Michael Knight,
I was watching this
Mitch
interview with him,
Buchanan.
and something I took from him was that, what they asked him, he said, "How have you stayed so busy for so many years?" And he said, "Oh, he goes, I don't wait for the call. He's like, I make the calls. He goes,
Yeah,
nobody's just gonna call me. And he's like, so if I make the call, he goes, I'll get a bunch of no's, but eventually someone's gonna say yes. He said, don't wait, just make
yeah.
the call. And I was like,
What's
brilliant.
you want to laugh?
What's
So
that?
I've actually David Hasselhoff is one of my favorite all-time
Oh, he's
TV
awesome.
shows. So I grew up watching Knight Rider and
Yeah.
Baywatch. Oh God, yeah. I mean, I still have over there a bunch of DVDs. I still have season one, two, three, and four
That's cool.
Okay,
That's
I had the DVD still. Matter of fact, I own the system in Amazon Prime too. I bought them all.
oh
I
wow.
so I'm addicted to Knight Rider.
Yeah.
I have a small little kit car up there. My wife for Valentine's Day put a kit car and a cookie for me.
Yeah.
I'm a big besides Star Wars, Knight Rider was the show I grew up on.
Oh man, I love Star Wars, man. I
So
love
if
Star Wars.
you're gonna laugh. So you want to talk about Star Wars? Well, I have a bunch of Star Wars cards here. I'm a
Oh
collector of Star
yeah.
Wars. Oh, oh,
Wow.
yeah. I'll show you one of the cards. Matter of fact, I have extras.
Yeah,
I'm going to show you this right now. Even if it's the interview. I don't care.
that's
This is what
fine.
I mean. This is what I mean.
What we're doing. This is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing. So, oh, damn it. It blurred again. When it blurs. Oh, no, it's not. So I have this, oops,
Oh wow.
awesome
Wow.
Yoda card.
Yeah. Dude, that's
Okay. So that's one of the extra ones I have now. I mean, when you say collection, I have, oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I have so much personal collection of cards. It's
all
ridiculous.
right.
But there they are. I even have PSA ones. So,
See.
so one of my holy grails is this 2021 Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Refractor.
Oh man. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I
then
was wait, what year was that?
2021.
Yeah.
So it's a Gen 10. But this is one of my other favorites, Luke versus Darth Vader.
Oh, classic.
Very classic.
Classic.
I'm also a big Anakin Skywalker guy.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh man.
Wait, wait, it gets better.
Oh man.
Yeah, don't worry, you can curse. This show's family, not
That's
family
awesome.
friendly.
So
And
are we gonna get a Darth Vader series?
I hope we do.
I would
I,
love to
so
see it.
so far, I'm hearing the rumors that we are.
That would be awesome, man,
I
because there's
would.
so much to tell with the transition, you
What's
know?
funny is like I really never watched the Clone Wars. Like
You didn't?
I just did.
Oh, okay.
Hold
Yeah.
on. I just finished the Clone Wars in about a week.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
I was really slow at work,
Okay. All right.
but I
Yeah.
was able to watch the Clone Wars at work and some at home. I didn't realize there was a timeline because I grew up on New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and the Jedi, and the prequels. So I kind of really didn't know much until I got Disney Plus.
Right. Right.
And then I'm like, wait a minute, what's the Bad Batch? Now I'm on the Bad Batch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I watched Obi-Wan. I
Yep.
watched, all the new Jedi movies,
Yep.
and
Yep.
now I'm like, wait a minute, there's this timeline to all this. I really screwed this up. I just watched the accolades.
Okay. Yeah.
I just watched that. I'm like, wait a minute, this is great. And then I'll be telling you the truth. I'm not gonna lie. Watching Clone Wars, I'm like, there's more lightsaber action than there was in the movies. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it took me like when Clone Wars came out, I started watching it and then I couldn't get into it because I wanted Luke and Leia and all
It
of this
took me a
stuff.
while too.
And so, but then it took me a few years. I went back and I was like, let me just start it. And then I was like, I get it. And
Now
then
I
I was
get it.
hooked.
Yes.
And then I'm
Oh
like,
man.
man, it just painted a whole new picture of the whole universe, the Star
And
Wars
then
universe for me.
seeing now I'm understanding. Like I was watching Ahsoka, and I was
Yeah,
like, I'm not getting the background to this. And
right.
now
Yes.
I look back, I'm like,
You got to
oh,
watch Rebels too if you
I
haven't.
have to. No, I'm catching up on a lot of stuff
Yeah,
now.
yeah, because again, there was some people from Rebels in Ahsoka.
Yep.
And I think they're getting ready to expand on that too.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah.
So I went on Whatnot a couple of weeks ago,
Uh,
and I met a part-time artist who
okay.
who draws for Topps
Yeah.
cards.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I commissioned him to draw a picture.
Okay.
This came out of my brain. Half Anakin,
Oh
half Darth Vader.
man, that is so dope.
This is a one of one.
Yeah. Wow, dude.
One of
That's
one,
so cool.
and he drew it for me.
Yeah.
I asked him, "What are the odds of you going to do that for Topps?" He goes, And I asked him personally in an email,
Yeah.
and he's not answering me. I said, "If you do it, I only ask for one thing. Just get an autograph card for me from Hayden Christian."
Man, yeah, that would be awesome.
That would mean, or I will send this one in and get that autographed.
Well, good luck and may the force be with you on that
Yeah,
one, man.
I know because I'm going to need a lot of help from the force on that
That's
one
awesome,
because,
man.
but that's the thing. Like, I grew up watching the Star Wars episodes, like music. Like
Mhm.
when I hear the theme song, I
Yeah,
go nuts.
yeah, yeah.
I love the stories.
Was it John Williams?
John
That he,
Williams, yes.
yeah, yeah,
I
man. That guy
mean,
did
he's such a
so.
great composer.
Yeah, man. So many of the songs, the movies, the Superman.
Superman's
Um, God,
the
there's Indiana Jones.
Jones. That's another one.
Yeah,
Actually, my
yeah, man.
daughter is in a lead for the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, in her dance competition.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm like, you get to wear the fedora. Do you get the whip? That's what I
Yeah,
said. That's the first thing that came in my mind.
that's cool,
So
man.
it's actually that's funny. It's the Raiders of the Lost Ark. She's doing the scene with the ball with the.
Oh, wow. Oh, interesting.
So I'm kind of curious to see what the routine's going to
How
be.
they're gonna do that.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm I'm looking forward to it.
Wow.
This is why I say I get off. This is why we get off topic quickly.
Wrong with that, man.
But the enjoyment of this that what I do is what I love. Like
Right.
I collect this stuff. I collected a lot of stuff within a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like one thing with me is like here's one thing I have too.
What is it? Is that
It's
a
a
card?
it's a card box of Darth
Uh-huh.
Vader, but
Oh, wow.
and it's numbered.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, and it's made by Topps, and they're like hologram cards. And I mean, these are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I haven't. You're the first person to see this,
Well, I'm
and
excited,
then
man.
and everyone's gonna see it now. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Oh man, that's
and then
crazy.
you want to see crazy though? Hold on.
Yeah. Let's see. Not really moving, but still so dope. Oh, there it is.
I gotta find the right angle.
Ah, that's cool.
It's Obi-Wan
And Anakin.
and Anakin. So
Yeah.
these cards go for like $400.
Oh
When on
wow.
Whatnot, I got it for 25.
Oh my God. Well, that's one hell of an investment. Tell you that much.
Well, for me, Star Wars is my investment. I actually just got my hands on a 1977 Tarkin, Grand Moff Tarkin
Really?
card.
1977?
1977 in pristine condition.
Wow.
I'm actually going to get that graded because
Yeah.
that's going to sell for money.
Yeah.
Am I going to sell it? I don't know yet. It's
Yeah.
what,
Well, we'll see how it goes.
yeah, exactly. But
Man.
like you with the music, again, like you can see, we
Yeah.
could do a whole nother show, you and I.
Right?
It's funny. I mean, with your music, with being the Academy Awards and voting,
Mhm.
like how much time do you have to vote for the specific artist? I mean, the specific categories. There we go. I couldn't think of the name. Categories.
Well, so you're only allowed to vote in so many categories, and I
Okay.
want to say it's like six, seven, something like that.
Mhm.
And so I tend to stick to categories that I know. I'll take a few categories like spoken word and stuff like that that I don't really listen to, just to support some fellow artists that have
Mhm.
reached out to me if I really like their work and whatnot. There's like the world music and all of that, and I'll vote for those two. But then I'll stick to like, R&B,
Mhm.
pop, all that fun stuff. But I stick to what I know for the most part. I remember one year, it might have been 2018, where every vote that I made won the award. And
Oh,
so the
nice.
only time that happened was my very first Grammys, but everybody that I voted for won. And I was like, yeah, all right, all right. I got my finger on the pulse here. So, but after that, not so much.
Well, for me, I mean, to even go to an event like this, I mean, you've been there and you know how it is. Like for a guy like me, an indie podcaster out of New Jersey,
Mhm.
that would be like Grammys, MTV Music Awards, or the movie awards, something like that.
Yeah,
It's like would be a dream come true. I'm waiting
yeah,
patiently. I'm still waiting to this day.
man. It's I'll tell you the one in New York was funny because it was at Madison Square Garden,
Yes, I remember
um,
that one.
and they so they have these award shows before the Grammys. That's
Mhm.
so when you see people like on the red carpet, they'd be like, "Oh, Bruno Mars won best blah 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 earlier today,"
They
or
had they had those
they give
Grammy.
away like 70 awards in that pre-show. It's like a 3 hour thing.
Right.
So you're in there, you're in the smaller room, you're not in the main room, you're not in the big arena, you're in the
Mhm.
smaller arena, or smaller theater or whatever. And they're giving out all these awards, and you don't see the big stars. They're not there at that.
Right.
They're people and producers, managers. Those guys are the ones they're accepting. There's a few that are there. So anyway, they do that, and then they say, okay, you have about an hour before the show starts, and you have to be in your seats in the arena here at Madison Square Garden. But everyone was starving at that point. And so, but there's nowhere to go because you can't really leave because
Right.
you have an hour and you know how New York City is.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And so everybody was in the concourse and in their gowns and in their tuxedos and however they were dressed, eating freaking chicken fingers and burgers and fries, whatever they could get from the concession stand.
Right.
And then you weren't allowed to take food into the main arena
Right.
either. So they were like, you can take water, but that's it. So everyone's just scarfing it down, and then everyone's in their seat, ready to go. And what I always say is the coolest part of the Grammys is when they go to commercial breaks, because that's when you see everybody on the floor. I wasn't on the floor. You see everybody on the floor, all the A-listers, all the big wigs get up and kind of mingle a little bit. And you
Right.
just remember thinking like, man, I wonder what kind of collaborations are being born right now.
Yeah.
And so
I
it was,
mean, for me, that's like again, even just to do an interview with somebody is a pipe dream.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
I mean, I talked to SJ a while
yeah,
ago, and he's a great dude.
yeah, that's my boy.
We did his interview. He actually did his interview in Tamika, but in the art little area that they built.
Uh-huh.
And man, it was such a beautiful area. I was just like
Yeah.
so, and I remember Katrina invited me, hey, why don't you come down to Kansas City? Because we're doing Roger's big party. I'm like, I would
Oh
love to.
yeah.
I got invited by Katrina.
That's cool, man. Oh, I
I,
wish you could have come.
I would have loved to, but it was like my daughter's thing too. I'm like, damn it, I go family.
Right,
I
right.
said, listen, one day I was supposed to go to Canada last year,
Yeah.
or the beginning of this year of 2020, end of 2024. I was trying to get up there to really meet Katrina and Rachel, but I couldn't get up there. Work got busy, podcasting got very busy.
Yeah.
So this year I'm going to make an attempt to get up there to really see them
Yeah,
and
yeah.
meet everybody because even though I'm not signed with them, but
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
loyalties
Yeah.
are to them
Yeah, they're
and
good people.
three other people.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I told everybody, I sent this video out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everyone's like, and I said, it's not a goodbye, it's a see you later.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's
It's
just
just
pause. It's just
it's
a
just a
pause.
pause.
Yeah.
We're gonna be running shows until I come back.
Yep.
So it's not like I'm gone. I'm just not
Right.
scheduling anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's when people don't realize when I say my health is I was 400 pounds in the summer.
Wow. Wow.
412 pounds. I'm down
Yeah.
to 330 pounds.
That's
330
awesome.
pounds today.
Wow.
So to lose 80 some odd pounds, it takes a lot out of you and mentally.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's more like a mental health break, but to really be with my kids a little bit too.
Yeah, man. God
Because,
bless.
right now we were at a friend's house. They had a play date. We were all enjoying ourselves. Then I realized I'm like, whoa, we got to go because I got to meet up with Roger. That's
Yeah.
important. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I made the commitment for the month of February to do what I got to do, make sure everyone's happy,
Yeah.
because I made my commitments.
Yeah,
And that's
man.
something I truly do testament. Listen, have I missed shows? Yes. I've apologized, try to reschedule everybody as best as I can when I can.
Mhm.
But that it does happen.
Right. Right.
I mean, people get sick, I get sick, you can get sick. If you told me something happened, I'm like, hey, totally understand.
Right.
I
Life
respect
happens, man.
life is happening as we know it.
Yep.
Now we're here in 2025 and am I going to be a podcast for I don't know, but I still love what I do.
Right. That's the thing, man. It's like, you know, when I took my break from
Mhm.
from music, I wasn't sure like at what level I would want to come back or I could even come back to,
Mhm.
But ultimately, I think, my wife and I talked about it. I said, I don't want people to think that I'm just stopping music because
Right.
I'm not stopping it because it'll always be there. It'll always be in my heart. I'll always write songs. I'll always do shows. I'll always record songs. I'll always put something out, but it may not be at the level that I did before. My
Right.
head is in a different space. I've got different things going on, different challenges that I want to take on. And so
Which I totally get it.
I'm in a space right now where I'm like, okay, well, I want to write. I want to write. I want to see what we can do. I know I have a plan to put music out this summer. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I haven't written it yet, you know?
It's not there yet.
No. So I'm just going to keep writing till I find the right one and if I don't find the right one, I'm not going to put it out. But I'm just it just happens. The inspiration when it happens, it calls me. I can't force it. I'm not one of those people that can be forced to write a good song.
Mhm.
It's got to come from the heart. It's got to be inspired, and I'm inspired right now.
And that's awesome. And because one thing, as like I said, I don't have the knowledge like you do with music, but when I hear something, I'm not just listening to the music. I'm listening to the words that the writer, as
Yeah,
yourself, is
yeah.
putting down and how the singer sings it. Matter of fact, I had a gentleman, his name is Alex, too, which is kind of funny, but he's from the band The Calling.
Okay.
Great band, had huge success in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and he's back again doing a new album this year.
Nice.
And I was telling him like some of the songs he did was amazing. Wherever You Go was one of his major hits. Adrian was another one of his hits.
Hmm.
Like it was that alternative rock band type of music,
Yeah,
but it was in that genre, like you said. And something about his music was always good, and his voice was very powerful. And I said, I wasn't listening to the band, I was listening to you, how
yeah,
you sang the songs.
yeah,
He goes, he goes, wow. I go, I'm not like I love music, but I love to hear the words.
yeah.
What is the meaning to the song? What are you trying to say with the words?
Right.
Like that's one thing I loved about Nothing But a G Thing growing up.
Yeah, yeah,
Another one of my favorite hip hop artists to this day is Naughty by Nature.
yeah.
I grew up listening to these guys. When you
You
listen to,
have you're only like 1 degree separation from them.
yeah,
Being like kick up your heels very tight with them.
I know.
I'm really cool with KG and Uncle Vinnie
I'll be,
Mac.
to be honest with you, that's kind of my dream too, is to meet him and actually just sit. I don't care if I don't get to interview him,
Yeah,
but to sit
yeah.
in the same room and just talk to him.
What's cool is as I've gone out with them on some of their shows, to
Mm,
go see them and whatnot. And the nicest dudes. Met Tretch a few times.
yeah.
Um, Tretch, when was that? That was right after we moved back to Kansas. Tretch, the front man for Naughty by
Oh
Nature.
yeah.
They were here at Royal Stadium doing like a '90s show or something, and
Oh
I went to go
nice.
see my boys Color Me Bad, and so we were hanging out backstage. We were on the field at Royals at Kauffman Stadium, and I walked up to Tretch, and I was like, "What's up, Tretch?" And he was like, he looked, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Oh man, he remembered me." I mean, it was cool. Like, we had that moment. And so that I was like, "Oh man, he remembered me from Jersey." I said, "Yeah." He's like, "What are you doing in Kansas?" I said, "I moved back, man." He was like, "Oh," but it was cool, man. Those guys are all really cool dudes,
No,
man.
and that's somebody I would love. I mean, for me, because their songs were also a lot of inspirations. I
Anthem.
Uptown Anthem is one of my favorites. I
Yeah.
mean, Hip Hop Hooray is another one for me.
Yep.
Feel Me Flow. I mean, those were.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
hear
who
the.
could forget OPP? You know what I
Well, OPP is always the number one song, but
mean?
you know, um, but just hearing those songs, I literally my playlist has them,
Yeah.
and growing up on them is here in Jersey for me is like to even get a chance to even talk to them is like a plateau for me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I could say I made it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, can I? Vin, any of those guys. I mean, for me, I that's what got me into hip hop besides Dre,
Yeah.
because they were straight out of Jersey. Same thing with Lords of the Underground. They were
Yeah.
Jersey people. You know what I mean? They sung from the hood. They sung from the truth.
Yeah.
The words were so real. I mean, God, there was another song. I forgot the name of the song from Naughty by Nature, but
Uh-huh.
it was one of the songs. If you ever been to the ghetto, don't ever come to the ghetto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just like it was hilarious because he's right.
But it was real. Yeah.
It's real because he's right.
Yeah.
Because if you're from the suburbs, like in Rutherford, like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you just don't go into Newark.
Right. Right. Yep.
You need to go there with a plan.
Right. Right. And people that are from Newark.
Like me being a Cuban and Peruvian Hispanic, I'm
Yeah.
welcome there.
Right.
But
Right.
you
Right.
bring somebody who's not, you're like, damn, you
Yeah.
stick out like a sore thumb.
Absolutely. They're gonna feel it. They're gonna feel it.
But the respect of their music, just like yours, is
Yeah.
an amazing thing because they're coming from the heart. It's not coming by not saying the truth. It's coming from the experiences, the
Yeah.
music, the emotions that you have in your songs with your writing. You hear it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people don't say that.
Right. Right.
I mean, I know you've been on a ton of interviews. Oh, we love your music. But does
Yeah.
anybody really tell you to
Right.
you,
Right.
I heard the words
Yeah. Right.
and your music is inspiring.
That's cool.
And
That's
that's
really
something, I want to make sure as you're as the artist and the writer, you should know that
thank you.
because people don't talk like that.
Right. I appreciate it, man. And I mean, that's the number one reason you write songs is
Mhm.
to make people feel something, to let them feel what you're feeling, or try to at least, or to interpret it the way they do, but to feel something. And
Mhm.
I write every lyric that way, and every song is a story. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end,
Mhm.
and it's just you get them there and want hope that they feel something along the way.
And that's something I like for me, podcasting is like, it's just not talking to amazing artists like yourself, but it's also, I want people to realize that artists are people.
Right.
They're normal people like us.
Yep.
When you talk about, Naughty by Nature is one of the greatest examples right now because they do so much for the community in New Jersey, in Newark, and everything. They opened up that park this year or last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was watching that on TV and I'm like,
Was that the baseball field? Where the base or
the basketball.
basketball? That's what it
Well,
was.
it's a
Yeah.
basketball court, and I think there was a baseball field involved.
Okay. Okay.
But to see News 12, report it, and I'm just like, I go, wow. I go, Katrina Rachel's got to be smiling on this day too, because they're with them too. You know what I mean? So I feel like,
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny, like if you remember New Jersey 12, like people like Cara DeFalco,
Hmm.
Christina Bear, who worked for Channel 11 and News 12, Marissa Braney, Don Smith, all those
Yeah.
guys from News 12 have been on the show.
Really?
I've got them all. And
That's cool.
so when I put out my video, like Marissa's like, I'm so proud of you, all the hard work you put in. We can't wait when you come back. Christina Bear, Cara DeFalco, everyone like
Oh,
really
that's awesome.
to see the messages from some of the local New Jersey celebrities.
Mhm.
It means a lot to me because then I know I did something right. Like
Exactly. You made an impact.
I made an impact. I mean, I love raising awareness too because I'll take it back. High school friend of mine, her son is autistic.
Mhm.
So I wanted to do something for autism. We
Yeah.
did. One of my friends has type 1 diabetes. I supported her for her diabetes front.
Wow.
I want to do that. And another friend who I coached high school football, I was his coach. He was my player. He's a sheriff down in Texas. He's a cop in Texas as a sheriff's department.
Hmm.
He's got twin daughters that have CP.
Mm.
I want to raise awareness on that. I want
Yeah.
people to realize. He's also a Marine. He was a Marine too. So
Okay.
God bless him.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I had a gentleman who had a bad drug habit. He kicked it sober, clean.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
I love hearing those stories. I love not hearing, but I want people to realize. Like, I had another good friend of mine that I known since grammar school. I never knew he was on painkillers for all these years
Hmm.
until he came on the show and told me.
Wow.
I was like, holy shit, I never knew that.
Yeah.
And we were friends for all these years. We went to high school together. Like I just never, you don't see the signs until you hear it.
Right. Right.
And and that's why, like me, I'm totally different. I'm
Mhm.
not, I don't get paid for this. This is all out of my own pocket.
Right. Right.
You know,
And the love of your heart. That's where it's coming from,
yeah,
man.
hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie. Would I like to get paid for this one day?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Am I going to? Probably not.
Yeah. You
But
never know.
you never know because like guys like SJ Law, another great guy I had on the show. We were vibing just like we were, man. Like
Yeah.
we are. He was funny as hell. He was like, "Oh man, I know Donnie." I'm like, "Oh damn, that's like another actor
Yeah.
slash songwriter I would love to meet."
Donnie's
He's
on
a
a
trip.
whole other level, man. He's such a good dude too. But
I hear.
Law, man, that's my man. Law, I could see y'all going back and forth, but I don't know how you go back and forth because you can a lot of times you can't get in a word edgewise with Law
Oh,
because he's
I
got
let him go, but he was so cool.
he's so yeah, he is. That's my boy, man.
He is.
I said that for your benefit, Law.
Matter of fact, he even posted something on my Facebook.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh,
to see him showing love to that, total mad respect for him too. Like
he
to
he was gosh, we found each other on Twitter back when my first album came out.
okay.
Um, it was like we had shared like a fan base, and he was like, let me check him out. Let me check him out.
Right,
And
right, right.
so he heard one of my songs called New York When It Rains, and he immediately contacted me. He's like, yo, I just listened to this song of yours, man. New York When It Rains. Yo, bro, we gotta connect. We gotta connect. And so we hit it off, and our fans saw us talking to each other, and um, that shared fan base became a bigger fan base.
Right.
By the time when I did my second album, I was done with it. And Law called me because, hey man, we got to get something on this album. Like, dude, like the deadline is next week. And he's like, oh, we got to get something. So I called my producer, Edson Sean, got on the phone with Law. Okay, guys, we're gonna meet in the studio on this date and we're gonna write something. So
Mhm.
on the way to the studio, I heard this song. Do you remember Cake by the Ocean?
Oh
Uh,
yes.
Oh, to me, baby.
Yeah.
So I found the instrumental to that. I'm like, I love this vibe. And so I was
Oh yeah,
driving.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, now that
Yeah,
you put that
yeah,
song in my head now, it was funny.
yeah. So
I
I'm
heard that song
driving. I'm gonna tell
insane.
you, I'm gonna tell you a little secret, man. You can put the song that I wrote on the way to the studio. I wrote
Mhm.
the verse, I wrote the chorus and my verse. Got to the studio and I presented to the guys. Law's writing his rap while I'm recording. Law's making music. Edson's making music. We're getting the tracks together. That song is called She's Breaking Necks. You could
Yes.
put that song directly over Cake by the Ocean, and it fits perfectly because it's the same tempo, it's in the same key, has the same changes. So when Law and I do that song live, we'll switch from She's Breaking Necks into Cake by the Ocean.
Oh
It's
my God.
it's cool, man. It's really cool.
That's so awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
and when I mean talented, the guy's talented. I mean,
Awesome.
he was awesome. And one thing I love, he has such a charisma about him.
Yeah, he does.
It was fun.
I'm sorry.
No, no.
I always tell people this, man. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, like seeing Law live. Like his live show, and I mean in person. You can see the videos and everything.
Yeah.
Bro, you're close enough. Have you gotten to there?
No, we talked, once I said, once if I ever get a chance to slow down, I would love
Yeah,
to come out to see you. And he goes, dude, I'll set you up. You come backstage with me,
good.
you hang out with my group.
Yeah,
You're always welcome. I'm like, dude, I would appreciate it. I'd love to see you. I'd love to meet you. I
yeah,
mean, I had such a great connection with him. I mean,
yeah,
you know what? Anyone would kick up your heels. Any of her clients,
yeah,
Katrina and Rachel's, I gotta say, I've been honored to have them on the show like you.
yeah. Thank you.
And one thing is, you know, it's like I keep the connections live for a reason
Yeah,
because I might say, hey, Roger, would you like to come back on again?
Absolutely. Right.
Like I'll after show, if if you want, we could exchange infos like I do with everybody
Absolutely.
because I love to keep in touch with you just because
Yeah, man.
family man to family man. I got somebody else I could talk to too about stuff too.
Always, man. Always.
But it's kind of funny like how people meet and vibe so well that you
Yeah.
don't see that anymore.
Right. Right. No, man. Um, People are too, they hide behind social media quite a bit, and you don't know really who you're talking to these days.
If
So
you ever, I mean, I'll find you on Instagram later too because if you saw some of my stuff, you realize how
yeah.
real I am
Yeah.
when it
Same.
comes. I mean, you'll see. If you even check it out tonight or tomorrow, if you see the video I did when I made my difficult decision, like I explained,
Yeah.
hey, it's Levy G Gomez. I hope everyone's enjoying the shows, but I want to discuss something else. Like I made a difficult decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
I talked to the network podcast that I'm with, and I mentioned to them.
Yeah.
Um, I wrote a nice little paragraph. Nice, it's a long paragraph,
Mhm.
but I explained what was going on and hearing the support from them and my boys and kind of man, I was choky the other day. I choked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's emotional, man. It's a big piece of you. It's
yeah,
and it's hard to let things like that go, even for a little while. Again, it happened with music. It happened with my Sunday night soft rock with
yeah,
RO. It was getting to be a lot because I was writing the shows every week and for the Sunday night show.
right.
And it was hard because we were doing the show so late at night. And, my friends, one of them was a personal trainer, had to be up at 4 o'clock. The other one, wasn't a personal trainer, but he would get up at 5 o'clock, go work out, and I would get up at 6 o'clock and work out. So it was just so hard to keep that going for so
Yeah.
long. And so I'm super excited to get these guys back together this Sunday.
I am looking forward to hearing it too.
It's
So
going to be on Facebook, my Facebook. So find me on
I
Facebook,
definitely will.
and it'll be on my Facebook Live on Sunday
Usually
night.
I'm usually already following everybody, but
Yeah, yeah,
this last couple of days I've been actually a little busy
no
with
worries.
families. So, but tonight you'll definitely see me following everything tonight.
Cool.
I mean, dude, I gotta say, Roger, I can't believe it's almost an hour that we've been talking. Doesn't feel it.
No, not at all. Not at
You know,
all.
I mean, I will say this: you're welcome anytime here on the show.
I appreciate that, man.
I'll give you my info. Like, yo, I want to come back on. We gotta talk again.
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
you're like any of Kick Up Your Heels clients,
Yeah.
or I should say family. They're always
Yeah.
welcome because I remember Katrina was trying to set me up to do a live thing with the UF something with the UFC fighting in Jersey City or Newark.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
was trying to do something with that with them, and something happened that we couldn't do it. I forgot what it
Oh,
was, and it was like a benefits thing,
okay.
like do a live. I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but again, I mean, I'm totally honored to have you here tonight, man.
No, I'm
Now,
honored.
2025 is coming up. Now, I know we didn't get a chance to talk, but we'll talk about new music this year.
Right. Right.
What are
Yeah.
we expecting this year from you?
Well, um, I'm hoping to put out, something. I would like to put something up tempo with a really nice summer vibe to it. Sometime around June,
Mhm.
if I can make that happen.
You
And
will.
and I think the thing is too. I'm sitting on a lot of music. This last album, especially Midwest Charm,
Mhm.
which came out in 2022. I didn't tour to support that album. I didn't do a lot of shows to support it because to me, it was just a love letter to New York, New Jersey, Kansas, and my wife. In fact, man, that album. It was the album. It didn't perform as well as the others because I didn't support it.
Right, right. I got you.
Um, the first single off that album was Back to Kansas,
Mhm.
and that's how we announced that we are moving home. But that song has become one of my most popular songs because it tells a story, man. It tells it. I'm not a rapper, and I told my producer, I said, man, I wrote this song. I wrote Back to Kansas. I wrote the verses. I wrote the bridge. I said, and I was sitting there. I'm like, that doesn't even tell half the story though. So I started writing this rap. I said, I need you to tell me like how should I rap this, blah blah blah. He goes, well, let me hear what you got. And it was like it started with literally started with Slow Motion was my boy band back in the
Hmm.
day, R&B group, and we had a deal and we moved to New York. But it was like Slow Motion, 98, R&B pop group, R&B pop, Biv, Irv, Dave. Then I thanked our manager, Arnold Snell, rest in peace, and all that. And it just kept going. And it talked about 9/11, losing my job, getting burned out on music, having a child, not having enough money really to have a child. So we
Hmm.
had government assistance. And it went on. And I did this whole thing all the way to I think the last line is what brought me here is taking me home back to Kansas. And what brought me there was I wanted to make my family proud. And I did. And that through music, I did that. And music is what's bringing me home now. And
Hmm.
it's such a cool thing. But anyway, I did that. And the producer's like, I don't even change a thing, man. Do it the way you do it. You're telling your story.
That's
And
awesome.
it does, man. It tells so much of it. A few jobs that we had in there and all that stuff. Um, but that song opens the album. You know what the last song on the album is? It's
No.
called Jersey Goodbye.
Saying
And
goodbye to Jersey and everything.
oh man, and it's like uh I can't remember. I'm actually sitting at a piano right now. I can't remember the chords right now, but it's like just like and it's just I love yacht rock. I love
Okay.
it. So I wanted to write a yacht rock type of song. And the Jersey Goodbye song, man, we I mean, I listen to it, man, and I get teary-eyed because it's like you think you're talking about a girl. If you're listening to the lyrics on the surface, it's
Hmm.
about a girl. But when you listen to it, it's I'm talking to New Jersey, man.
Yeah.
Help to make me to the man I am, and what are the lyrics? It's like um, God, packed my bags, went to the ocean shore, said goodbye. I can't remember the lyrics right now because I'm on the
No,
spot.
it's all
But
right.
man,
No, no, don't.
go listen
Yeah.
to it. Jersey
I gotta
Goodbye,
listen to it
man.
again. I definitely gotta,
Yeah,
I
man.
definitely,
But it's a really, really nice ode to Jersey. And then I have my song on there, New York Vibe,
mhm.
which I have with my producer Edson Sean, my man from the group Riff, Nitty Green,
Okay.
Riff, Jersey Boys. They were in Lean on Me, that movie back in the
Yes.
so they were the group singing the school song.
Song.
And then
Yep.
Law. So if you haven't seen that video, man, that's probably one of my top three favorite videos, man. Go check out New York Vibe and you'll see me, Law, and everyone. We're in
I
New York City.
definitely will. I gotta check that out.
But yeah, man, it's cool. That's but that's what that album was. My point is, I'm sorry, I went off on a
No,
tangent,
it's all right. Please. This is what I love.
but there's a lot of songs on that album that I didn't give legs to,
Mhm.
and so I may just take a couple songs from that album and re-release them, and in the meantime, and also put out new music, but that album deserves some love, and so hopefully,
Definitely. You know what? We're definitely, here at my show, the Sleepy G Show. I'm gonna definitely support you in any
dude,
way I can and make sure people hear your music from the heart. That's what it comes down to.
yeah,
And total respect on everything you do, man. And like I said, Rod, I'd love to have you back on the show, man. I really,
yeah, man,
when you're ready to release the music or the album, whatever you want to do,
yeah,
let me know because I would love to be that first person to get you on the show and
perfect.
get get the music rolling, man. And
I love it. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having you again on the show, man. And
thank you. I'm looking forward to
just
being.
and it's kind of funny, we also mentioned a lot with Katrina and Rachel. We got to thank them too because
Absolutely.
they've done so much for a lot of people that people don't realize it. They're always in the background. So
Hmm.
definitely big ups to them because they are probably one of three female fronts that I know that do a hell of a job.
Yeah. And they just signed a female country artist.
Yes, I just saw that the other day,
Yeah.
yesterday, today or yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I only found out about it today.
Yeah, it
Katrina
was on
called me.
Instagram.
Yeah. Katrina called me today and she says, "Hey, I need to tell you something." And I said, "What?" She said, "We signed a female country artist." And she goes, "But I wanted to tell you personally." I was like, "Oh, well, that's awesome. I'm really happy for you guys." And she goes, "Well, we were thinking, you're kind of our our big fish. Like you're our guy, you know, and we didn't want you to feel it. I'm like, why would I feel anyway? Like we're family. You guys have done so much for
Yeah.
me. And I listened to the girl, and she's awesome. So I was like, you guys got a good thing going. Like I would never in a million years be like jealous or why would you sign someone else? Like, no,
It's
man, they've done so much for me, and I couldn't be happier for
I
them.
mean, that's one thing, I mean, like they said, if they ever had a thing for podcasting, your name is going in there. I'm like, oh, listen, if I get my name anywhere and people are gonna know who I am, I'm gonna love it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like for me to having them be part of the Sleevey G show, I said, listen, I don't ask to get signed. I'm not asking for anything, but whatever I could do to help you guys. And Katrina and I and Rachel, I've developed a great. It's kind of funny. I don't try to keep friendships with work relationships, but the
yeah,
relationship I have with them is truly amazing. And Katrina's been there for me, and I'm there for her. Same thing with Rachel, and I'm very blessed to talk to them on the phone
yeah,
or through Instagram, technically, which is AKA is the phone anyway. Damn Canadian money.
yeah,
I could thank God for that. I go because it would cost us both a ton load of money if we talked on the phone for hours, me and her.
yeah,
And but to see what they do for their clients like you, who's been there one of their long time with them.
yeah. I
I
think I'm
mean,
actually their longest one, man.
yeah,
Uh, so
and,
they did.
you
What?
know, talking to SJU Law. I mean, matter of fact, it's kind of funny. I followed the Funky Bunch not too long ago. I'm like, oh, I got to get you guys on the show. And actually said to Katrina, I'm like, what are the odds of me getting them on the show? Maybe. It's like,
Yeah,
actually, that's not a bad idea, but let's wait till you get back.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I respect that, because
She's good. They keep it real, man. They always keep it real with me.
yeah.
She'll tell me she doesn't like a song, you know. And
Mm.
matter of fact, but sometimes that changes. Like she'll when she first heard she's breaking necks with me and Law, she's like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And then fast
To
forward, a year or so, she's like, oh my God, I actually have really that's a really good song, you know. But
it grows on people. I mean, like for
yeah,
me, I was lucky enough to get both of them on the show too, actually.
yeah, yeah,
So, like I said, I was very blessed. It was a hidden disguise with finding the email from Katrina because I'll never forget it. It
yeah.
was she emailed the Unfiltered Studios podcast.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'm reading. I'm like, oh. Then I get a personal email. I'm like, this email sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a day or two to like really reach out back to them because I wanted to know the backstory.
Right,
And
right.
and I look at their website, and the first person I see is you. And I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
There's Adam. There's Kenny. I'm like, Adam's another cool dude too. I had him on the show. I mean,
That was real cool. Yeah.
I mean, all these people that I've had from just the clientele from them has just been amazing, and
Yeah.
that's one thing. Like, and she tells me the feedback, like, oh, we had so much fun with him. I'm like, as long as they're telling you good things, that's all
Yeah.
I want to hear. If
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
bad thing, you gotta tell me. But also, if
Yeah.
they don't want to deal with me anymore, I understand. I'll respect their wishes.
Right. Right.
But so far, I think
I can't imagine anybody would feel that way about you, brother. I really
I
can't.
I know, and I appreciate that, man. I mean, I work hard. I'm a family man. I work hard for the family. I work hard for what I do. And like I said, I love what I do because people need to know who the artists are like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we just met a little over an hour ago, and I felt like we've known each other for 10 years.
I know. I was thinking, man, next time I come to Jersey, I don't know when that's going to be, but we got to meet up, man.
Oh,
We got to.
definitely, man. Listen, if I can ever get out to Kansas,
Yep.
I'm definitely, like I said, we'll talk
We'll be
after
in
the
touch.
show. We're
Yeah.
gonna we'll talk after the show once we're done
Yeah.
recording.
Absolutely.
But before we definitely sign off, I want to say, where can everyone find you?
So the easiest way to go is to rogerortega.com. All my social media is there. And so I will say this about X or Twitter, whatever it is now. My social media tag is there. Uh, but several years ago, Katrina, my manager, uh, I'm a huge sports fan, huge Jayhawks fan. And she called me one day and she's like, Roger, she's like, you need to start another Twitter account for your sports. And I was like, why? I'm like, this is how my fans know who I like. She's like,
Yeah.
no, no. She said, I went to your page. People are going to your page. They can't find your music, and it looks like it threw up the Jayhawks all over. So you need to start a new Twitter account. So I was like, oh, and I looked at my page and it's like Jayhawks this, Chiefs that, Royals that, blah, 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 all the way down.
Yeah.
Where's my music? So I started a new Twitter account. It's Royal Chief Jayhawk. That's my sports account. The problem is I started that account and I never went back to the other
The
one.
other one.
So, but yes, rogerortega.com is where you can find everything. And I hope you do.
Oh, I definitely will. I'll definitely be checking it out. You know that. But I gotta say, Roger, man, total honor having you on, man. This was a blast.
Thank
This
you.
we just kind of scratched the surface tonight.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I think we got a lot more we could talk about, and a lot more we can go in depth. You and I mean, that's the cool thing.
yeah,
The vibe that we got going on is unbelievable. It's just been so much fun.
yeah,
You know,
man.
oh, look at the dog coming in.
Yep, and my wife must be getting ready to leave to go pick up my daughter.
Oh, okay. Whoops. Well, my wife just took my kids to bed. So,
And there's my wife
and
down
there's your wife.
there. You wave.
Say hi too. But like I said, I was very honored to have you, and I can't thank you so much. And to everybody, one thing I will say is live up to your dreams. Roger's one of them again. He's truly a man of what he's saying. I believe in Roger. I believe in Kick Up Your Heels. I believe in everyone that's there too, because they're true people that are living their dreams, that are living their lives the way they should be.
Yeah, man.
And and one thing is, I wish you nothing but the best. I cannot wait to hear the new music coming out this year.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
looking forward to it.
Yeah. But when you get a chance, check out that Jersey Goodbye song, man.
Oh,
Hey,
I'm doing that.
you'll feel a little like, from the garden to the shore, all that stuff, man. Just means something to Jersey people.
If you hear me, if I tell you later and I'm text you or to hit you on Instagram, I'll be like, dude, you just made me cry. So if that happens, you're gonna
Well,
hear it
that's
from
the
me.
goal. All right, brother. Well, thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you so much. And to everybody, I can't thank everybody enough for coming to listening to the show, watching the show on YouTube, Spotify, Good Pods, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you hear. But like I always end the show, believe in your dreams, and it's nothing but love, peace, and happiness. Good night, everybody.